Hello, this is DeathKenny1112 here, and welcome to another video. Today will be a bit different. This is female YN X male mimic vampire mix. Sorry for any interruptions or sounds you may hear in the background, and like and sub. Please enjoy the video. I hope you like this. Yeah. You let out a sigh. You hated the cold, and you especially hated the deep snow. You hated the cold feeling of it brushing up against your leather boots. Why did I choose to go into the cabin at night? You wondered, regretting your decision. You were heading to your cabin in the woods where you were planning to spend the rest of the winter. But you were soon starting to regret it. Your feet clanked against the snow as you hopped over logs and followed the loose trail covered in snow. It was starting to get nighttime and basically the forest was starting to get dark. You had a lantern in hand, a blue frost lantern, a magical lantern that never burns out. Its bluish purple flames amid the forest. You wondered where all the creatures were. Normally there was deer at the nighttime or even the occasional bird. But this winter was different. A lot of things began hiding after the vampires moved in. You're starting to fill your head in with a bunch of different things. The vampires that's happened, or even the occasional wolves. You didn't know, but the creatures seemed to have moved on from this path. Normally it was flooding, but now there wasn't a soul found. Well, except for yours. You laughed. You're just filling your head up with worry, and there's nothing to worry about. So you go, and you just continue. You look at some of the dead trees and the beautiful frosted leaves that were still managed to stay on the tree. You love these trees. A magical hybrid of a bunch of different oaks and all these with a magical tree that seems to grow leaves in the winter and stay in the summer. It's like pine trees. Evergreens. You sigh again as you grab your robes. It's cold, bitter cold, and you're starting to regret your decision. But there's no turning back now. You're about 2 hours into the forest, and you're only about 30 minutes to an hour away from your house. You begin to walk again as you stop for a brief second. Shadows flashing in the corner of your vision. You begin walking. The cold air chilling your lungs. It's been a while, you sigh. I must almost be there. You say, listening to the snow on your feet and the crackle of the lantern. You take a deep sigh before continuing on. You stop. What was that? You wondered. It sounded like a clink. Your eyes shot around you, not understanding what it was. Maybe I just imagined it, you thought. Hopefully. You freeze and you look around your lantern, your eyes sporadic, looking around to see what it is as you try to keep calm, your heavy breathing pounding in your chest. You don't see anything, so you just choke it up as your imagination before you continue to walk. But before you did, you took one last glimpse behind you. Could have sworn you saw something orange. You continue your walk, trying to ignore whatever you heard, unsure of what it was. Your leather boots began to run colder. You hated it. I should be getting there soon, you wonder. Oh, what's this? You stop. That's weird. There's another set of footprints, you wonder. With bird prints. You look at it as it looks like bird prints and footprints just appear out of thin air. You look at it and wonder, how? You look at the bird print, runs about 10 feet in front of you, and then it suddenly turns to human footprints. You were trying to figure out and make sense of it when you heard a rustling nearby. You look around, maybe it's just a bird, you thought, as your eyes shot around to the bushes. But then the sound stops. Then you hear it in the trees, so you look up. Then it stops. You can't figure it out. It's like something toys with you. You continue walking, but a bit faster. You don't want to stick around to know what in the world it is. You stop. Was that 2 sets of footprints, you thought? You turned around and you looked at the lantern before your eyes shot back to the darkness. You notice there's a second pair of footprints that laid behind you. Nothing there, not a noise. But it seems there is another pair of boots. You look at the ground, examining it, the snow sparkling as it starts to drizzle from above. A vampire? Your brain thought. No, I'm not gonna fall victim to a vampire. You open your bag, going through it. You move your gemstones, currency. Aha! You pull it out. A pocket knife. Its shield a red crimson. It's one of those flick open ones. You set it in your pocket, just in case. You close your bag, and you proceed to walk on more cautiously than before. You can see the light of your house. You ask the person you had keeping the house to leave the light on, so you can see it and to leave the place warm. You're happy you made that decision, or you're freezing, your fingers slightly tinted purple. You have a leathery coat on, which wasn't your best idea. You couldn't wait to get to your cabin and put on some of your fur coats. A while had passed. You're now at your front doorstep. You open the door to be greeted with a wave of warmth. It felt nice. You walk in and close the door, making sure to lock it behind you, for you didn't trust what you saw before. The fireplace was lit, a nice warm glow to the cabin. You look at your soft orange couch. It was tacky, but you loved that thing. You take off your jacket and you set it on the coat rack. You take off your shoes and you set your bag by the door. You turn off the lantern and you put it on the kitchen counter, which was right there when you entered the door. You walked straight through the doorway into where you could actually see the couch. You walked past it though as much as you wanted to just loaf right into the couch. You open the door to a bedroom where you change into a nice pair of, basic clothing, because your last ones were basically ruined at this point. And you open your closet. In there you have a wolf pelted coat, a black leopard coat, and a fox coat. You look through it for a moment before deciding on a very fluffy, oversized black coat made from a black panther. No, you thought a black leopard, for it had very faint yellow spots on it. You know that the person who sold it to you said it was a black panther, but you know otherwise. You slip it on and it's still oversized. You never will quite grow into this thing before you stop. Was that window always open? You thought. Maybe the room person just, forgot to close it. You close it and you lock it, wondering why it was open. You proceeded to walk into the living room where your couch is, and then back to the kitchen. You grab a cup, a wine glass to be specific, where you mixed up some hot chocolate with milk. You put enough cinnamon in there to kill a small child, and then you put a straw. You walk over with your hot chocolate filled wine glass, and you take sips out of it. You lay in your couch, snuggle into it before watching the fire. You could feel your eyes begin to heaven. They feel heavier and heavier. You only finished half your hot chocolate before you set it on the table. You let out a sigh of relief being in such a warm environment before you slowly drifted off to sleep. You open your eyes. You have no idea how long it had been. There wasn't daylight out, so you know it was still night. You yawned before stretching. How long was I asleep for? You wondered. You sighed before getting up. You really didn't want to, and you struggled doing so. You yawned before realizing your cup was there, so you take it and you bring it into the kitchen where you rinse it out. After you cleaned it, you set it aside to dry, and you look out your kitchen window. You stare at the pitch blackness outside for a moment, wondering if everything was just your imagination or dream. You didn't know, and you didn't want to know. So, you just left it alone. You walked out of there and you went straight to the bedroom. You had black silk sheets. You opened the closet and you grabbed your favorite winter blanket. It was also black, but it was fluffy, furry, and soft. You put that over the bed sheets. You snuggle in with your favorite little stuffed animal, an adorable little black cat stuffed animal. You loved this thing. It had 2 pink button eyes and a little nose and a little red bow around its little neck. You loved it. It was the size of a notebook. You take your jacket off though, since you didn't want to ruin it, and you set it aside. Where you decided you wanted to actually have something to drink. So you sighed to yourself, you got up, regretting your decision, and proceeded to go walk back into the kitchen. You decided, though, that you may want to put that fire out. You looked through their cupboards to figure out what you wanted to drink. You looked in your refrigerator. You had cherry juice, apple juice, pear juice, a bunch of other things. Where you ultimately decided on the cherry juice. And you proceeded to pour yourself a glass. And of course a wine glass, because you love these things way too much. You proceeded to grab that glass, take a nice big sip, and bring it with you. You set out the fire, didn't want to burn your cabin down, considering it was passed down through generations, and then proceeded to go into the bedroom, put it on the white shelf next to you, and nuzzle in with your favorite little kitty. You yawned with your tired eyes. Can't wait to sleep and deal with this tomorrow, you thought, chuckling to yourself. You were about to sleep, drifting off, when something caught your attention. A creak. You first thought that it was a house settling, but that's when you realized that was not. Sounded like someone was stepping around the house. You did not trust it. You put your coat on. You were cold. You put on a pair of shorts, since you sometimes got hot when you slept. And you proceeded to look around in your little fur coat. You looked left. You looked right out the door before you stepped out. You know you heard a creak. You saw it. You realized your pocket knife, your only protection, was in the kitchen. You had to go to the kitchen to grab it. So you did. You carefully tiptoed in the pitch black house, careful to not make a sound. You go to the kitchen, and you saw it. Your kitchen window was open. Something was in your house, you thought. You quickly grabbed your pocket knife, and you looked around for a sharp kitchen knife. But you noticed all of them were removed. Where are they all, you thought. You heard creaking behind you in the next room. You panicked, not sure what in the world's in your house. You were terrified. You proceeded to grab it. Grab it, your only protection, and your lantern. You had two decisions. To the vampire, they have increased strength. You would never be able to fight them off, considering you are 4'9", so not much you can do there. You do not know what to do. You decided either to make a break for it or to not. You decided to break. Yeah, you thought, I need to run. It's cold out, but I have to, you thought. If it's a vampire, I can't outfight him. You panicked. What if it's a mimic? You were horrified. You were thinking about all the possibilities when the creaking started to get closer. Opening the door would make too much noise. And you knew it would. But it'd be harder to climb over an entire counter out the open window. You shuddered at the thought of being killed. And you shivered at the coldness entering through the window. You saw something faint in the dark house. A faint orange light. You didn't know what was causing it, for there was nothing else that could. You were thinking when it was slowly getting closer. You froze, not sure what to do. You saw a hand. A hand grabbed the doorway as it walked through. You look up at it. At it. And that's when he looked back at you. A solid, expressionless look on his face. You all locked eyes for just a moment, unsure of who's gonna move first. You break for it. It literally lunged at you, but you managed to dodge it somehow due to being so small. That thing was tall, you thought. You open your door as quick as lightning, and you run out. You run fast. Faster than you thought you would ever. You could hear that thing's footsteps behind you. But you ran. You turned on your lantern and you ran. Not sure which directions you would go. But you had to lose that thing. You jumped over some dead bushes into a deeper part of the forest. Not sure where you were at this point. You were just running blindly. You breathe heavy. You're out of breath. You ran as fast as you could for as long as you could. You're by a small cliffside. Nothing major, but definitely would hurt if you fell. You took a deep breath. The cold air finally hitting your skin from your adrenaline wearing down. You shuddered. You were shivered, goosebumps raising at both fear, adrenaline, and the bitter cold. You didn't even have shoes on. Not even a pair of socks. Just bare feet in snow. The snow was up to your shins too, which was bad. You were probably gonna get frostbite, you thought. You heard that same footsteps from before. Hey, you hear something call out. Where'd you run off to? He said playfully. You realized you were caught by a vampire. You thought had to be pale skin, sharp teeth. You thought definitely a vampire. You look around, needing to get away. You decided to go back the other way, but you were stopped in your tracks. There you are, he said cheerfully. You ran off pretty quickly. You froze in terror. You were 4'9". Well, this thing seemed around like 6'8", you thought. He was way too tall. But you felt dizzy. You groaned. I feel dizzy, you thought. You started getting sick, and your vision started to black out. Hey, are you okay? That thing said. But that's when it happened. You tripped and fell off. You fell off the cliff.